Yeah, I just feel like so often when we don't know how to lead ourselves, we make emotional decisions. And I've just seen that not only in my life, as I've learned and grown over time, I've become more aware of this and still susceptible to it, but I pay attention to it now. But I see so many people that the number one influencer in their life, the number one decision maker in their life, and I'd say the leadership of their life, because the definition of leadership in my mind is influence, has been given over to their emotions and their feelings. And more than any other thing, of course we're all logical, but the number one thing that influences decisions is their emotions and their feelings, and then they take actions based on those emotions and feelings. And of course, over time, emotions and feelings are always going to change. And then when the emotions and feelings change, then the actions change, and they are now inconsistent with things they were saying before. And now they're trying to come up with IQ reasons and logical reasons to justify why they're making decisions that are not principle-based. I mean, I see it in every area of life. You know, I see it in the financial side of things where people are going, oh, like I can afford the payment. You know, they get in a new car, and why does the salesperson want them in, just to take it for a spin? Because they get the new car smell and they get their emotions and their feelings going, and then they start to justify in their mind and go, I can afford the payment. It's a good deal. It's not whether they need a new vehicle or not. They get emotionally wrapped up and make a decision. And now they've got X amount of debt that wasn't maybe necessary because of that. I see it in relationships all the time. People are going, oh, she's the one or he's the one. And I'm going, you've known him for like 6 weeks. What are you talking about? And they're going, no, but this is the one. And then later you hear them going, well, we're just drifting apart. And you're going, drifting? What are you, in a river? I mean, it's a current? Right? And no, you don't understand. Like, we fell out of love. I mean, you fell? Love was on the 30th floor and someone gave you a push out of love? Like, what happened here? And you just hear these IQ justifications, and really what happened is the emotions and feelings were incredibly strong. Then later, when the feelings changed, they didn't develop the skill sets to play the game, and now they're making justifications as to why they're not making principle-based decisions. And so for Rachel and I, we just said, how do we get to a place where we're making values-based decisions? How do we overcome this? And I just believe that if you have a vision for your future, a value system where you know where you want to go, and that becomes the primary influence, or the definition of leadership is influence, that the leadership of your life is given over to where you want to be in 5 years and in 10 years, and to what your actual values are, that becomes the primary decision maker. You take action based on that, and then you learn how to lead your feelings. You put your feelings and your emotions in tow. And it's the dog wagging the tail instead of the tail wagging the dog. And then I've also noticed that it's one thing to say that that's what you do that. It's really hard to do it. It's not like we're not all still susceptible to those emotions. I still feel them. And so how do we get to a place where we can live that out, where we can make decisions based on values and based on our vision and based on our future? And I think that we've just learned that we had to feed the vision. And if you don't feed that vision, because I've heard it said this way, that input leads to thoughts, and thoughts then over time lead to words, and then words repeated leads to actions, and actions, consistent actions, turn into habits, and habits lead to character. Character, the kind of who you are, leads to your ultimate outcome, your destiny in life. And if we can figure out how to feed the input, I can remember growing up hearing certain songs, listening to certain types of music, and starting to, feel the words in my mind, and then starting to sing them a little bit and starting to act a certain way, and I became a certain type of person. It's that same situation where people go, well, that's just the kind of person I am. I'm like, well, maybe we've allowed ourselves to be fed that content, and we haven't taken control over feeding the vision in our life and putting the right input in over time that will eventually overflow. Somebody cuts someone off, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, and what's our natural response? Are we like, "Brr," or are we like, oh, God bless you, you must be late for church? I mean, which was our auto response? And people will go, well, I'm just an angry person. Well, maybe. Or maybe we just haven't controlled that over time. Maybe we've allowed ourselves to be that way for so long, and we haven't decided to take control of what we have control of, which is to put input in that we choose. I read a book, an old school book from the 70s on psychology, and it talked about the mind being a servo mechanism. And I was trying to figure out what is that? And basically the computer is modeled after the mind, and there's a saying in computer speak called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you program in is what that produces out. And have we taken control of being the ones to program our own minds? So we've got a conscious mind and we've got a subconscious mind. And my understanding of that is that the conscious mind is what we have control over, and that's 4% of your mind, but the subconscious mind is 96% of the mind. And the subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to distinguish truth and a lie, fiction, reality. And if you don't think that's true, you ever been watching a movie? And maybe it's a scary movie, or there's something, and all of a sudden you're getting a little tense, right? Your heart rate goes up and something happens, and you have a physical reaction to something that you know isn't real. And I think that we just have to take control over that and realize that we're in charge of how we build ourselves and how we build our mind. And if you will feed the vision, you can build your mind any direction that you want it to go.